Hi, I'm Lou. Another episode of My Car Story. I'm here with Scott. Scott, what's your last name?
Tiemann.
Tiemann, and we're here at the Corvette and we're at the Muscle Car and Corvette National here in Rosemont, Illinois, the greatest muscle car show in the globe. You have to come out sometime and see it. It's usually in November here in the Rosemont, Illinois, close to Chicago area. And today, Scott's got a great car and, of course, a great story. Scott, what did you bring today?
I brought a 1965 GTO Hardtop that my parents bought brand new.
Brand new, the parents bought it. And tell me, when did this car get restored?
We actually just finished this car in May this summer. The car sat in my shop disassembled in various states of restoration for about 20 years.
How many shows has it been to?
We took it to the GTO Nationals in June and now this show, so we're real happy.
Second show, you're getting the chance to see it. Bill, thank you so much. I'll grab the cameras I usually do. Come on back, Scott. Come on back with me. Let's feature your parents' car. First of all, pretty cool parents that drive a GTO, all right? So let's just start there.
Yeah, my dad, he liked neat cars. He had a 55 Ford convertible when Mom and Dad got married, and then he had a 55 Ford T-Bird. And then ultimately, when I was born, they decided that the T-Bird was too small, so he went and bought a 62 Ford and drove that for a few years. And then when these GTOs came out, they went new car shopping in 1955.
Wow. So let's take an overall look at the side of this car. I'm going to show some of the details here in a second, but let me get an overall. This car is, I mean, is this a 100-point car? Has it been judged? I mean, it looks spectacular.
Yeah, at the GTO Nationals, they based their judging on a 700-point show. And this car was the highest scoring car at the show. It scored 694 points out of 700.
So that's completely off the chart. Okay, so with that being said, for people who want to see some of the details, we've got the color there, Fontaine Blue, Fontaine Blue?
Fontaine Blue.
Fontaine Blue. And they can take the time to stop there. And you're from Michigan. This is your company, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so if you people want your GTO done, there's your phone number and a little. We got kind of a half a tag there, but clearly the car.
And a salesman's business card from Royal.
Yeah, look at
sales contract, invoice, all the original paperwork that Dad kept. And I have other pieces at home, but this is all that I brought.
Yeah. There you go, Royal Pontiac. Now, why is Royal Pontiac special?
Well, they were pretty heavy into racing in the early 60s. They raced the Super Duty Catalinas and Tempest. And then when the GTOs came out, they decided they'd start racing them in the various NHRA stock classes. And also they had what they call the Royal Bobcat package, where they would put thin head gaskets on the cars and rework the carbs and do the distributors and really make them run nice. So they kind of had a
racing history.
Yeah, they had a business of making fast Pontiacs,
and
street racing.
Yeah, Jim Wangers had a Royal Bobcat when he put it against the Ferrari GTO.
That's
versus
correct.
the American GTO, the 64.
The 64 that Jim had, and we restored that car about 7 or 8 years.
Is that's Tenny's car, isn't it?
Yeah, that's correct. We did that for Tenny Fairchild.
Yeah, we videoed Tenny's car with actually Jim Wanger's interview. So if people want to go to YouTube and see that, that is great news. We're in good company. Look at the beautiful emblem there.
This car, I've been really buying parts for this car to restore it to this level for literally 30 years. Every time a special part would show up, whether it was on the computer or word of mouth, I would always buy it. So I wanted, when I was to restore this car, I wanted to make it the nicest example in the country. So every piece of chrome on this car is NOS. I tried not to restore any of it. I would take it out of the box and install it on the car. So if you look at the tail panel, the tail light bezels, some of the paint work is a little bit fuzzy and a little bit funny, but that's the way it came out of the box.
That was
all
factory.
NOS stuff. So that's how I wanted to use it. The bumpers are NOS. As I said, all the die-cast on the car, the hubcaps. The entire console on the interior is NOS. That was a really neat piece to find.
I am amazed by the, I'll just call it the unique, what I want to call it the beauty of the beauty of the originality.
Yeah, and when I was a kid, I took the vinyl top off this car. I started driving it in '77, so I took the top off it when I was a kid and just had it all blue. And then when we got restoring it, I decided obviously that I had to put the vinyl top back on it. Now that it's done and you see how well this body style lends itself to the vinyl top, you can see why they were so popular back then. I really like the look of it.
It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. Tell me what's this little chrome piece here?
These little chrome bolts on the end, they hold the window track in the end of the door that the glass is sliding up and down on.
Looks like jewelry. Yeah, it's fantastic. All right, we've got the obvious body by Fisher. And I want to give you a snapshot of the interior of this car. I mean, there's the pedals and the gauging. One of the finest GTO examples. Tell me about that little racing flag in the odometer.
Yeah, the 65s, when you got rally gauges, had that checkered flag in it. We've just always thought that was just the coolest thing, that Pontiac had the guts, you know, to do something like that. They were just so proud of what they were designing, you know. It was just a different era in the automotive business.
This center console that you just mentioned.
But as I said, the console is completely NOS, the seat belts are NOS, the shift knob, the dash wood, just a lot of very, very hard to find and special parts on this car.
It's just tremendous. I always like the grab a hold of my GTO bar on the passenger side saying you better get ready, you're in a GTO. Just tremendous. Let me just get that wonderful emblem right in the center. Let's open up the hood for just a moment. Take a look at that. The 65 was the 389, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And this is the original engine to the car. I mean, I raced this car at different points in the early 80s. Had different engines and things in it, and the original engine just always sat in the corner, and you know, with anticipation of someday restoring it.
And one day it was coming back.
Yeah, exactly.
There's the build plate on it, or the details on the car. I always love all the details. Just how difficult is it to get those three dual carbs working together? Is that
they're fairly simple on these cars, because the engine only runs basically on the center carburetor. The end carburetors just have a main circuit and an accelerator pump, so they don't idle or anything. As long as they're shut 100%, they're very easy to tune, these cars.
Let's turn it on for just a moment. Even like look at the underside, just spectacular. Let's turn it on for just a second. We'll get a little exhaust note, and then we'll shut her down. All right. Got some other cars rumbling in the background. Just a little exhaust note. Scott, let's shut it down. Come on out. Let's shut the hood, and we'll have you stand right next to it. Last question for you. This car's been in your family since its birth. How happy are you when they restored it and you showed them the end result?
My mom and dad, my mom actually hasn't seen the car done.
Really?
They moved about 60 miles from the shop, so she hasn't seen it done. My dad works with us now, so he sees it every day. And as we're finalizing it this spring, he just smiled every day walking around, and just thrilled to see it done.
You know, it's a treat to see such a beautiful GTO. Thank you so much for giving us not only the history of this car, but a history lesson back to originality. Thanks so much for being on My Car Story.
Thank you so much.